Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody all around the world, and thank you for joining us today for another Left 4 Dead 2 competitive shoutcast. My name is MK. I will be your caster and cameraman for today, and I am not going to be running solo. I will be with my co-caster Amethyst. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, MK. Last two games we tried to cast together got swindled by fate. Finally, we get to cast again, buddy. How are you? I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. This is actually going to be the final match of the Swiss stage. Amethyst, this is the last game before playoffs begin.
Oh, why? It goes so fast, and this is going to be a pretty interesting game. The 2 seed and the 7 seed, I believe, Colossus and Hokori. MK, do you want to give the rundown for Hokori?
Actually, yeah, I have no problem doing so. And fortunate enough for us, as we were talking before they're ready up here, Colossus tagged up their name correctly, so it's a little bit easier for us, Amy. But
It's a lot easier.
I will take away Hokori. We're gonna have Shockwave, Grizz, Zyko, and Yaft, and you take away Colossus.
On the Colossus side, you got Erlin, Taeyong, Slide, and Rusher. So MK, besides these two teams, these highly competitive teams that have they've chosen to go with Swamp Fever. I would say Swamp Fever is a controversial map in the competitive community, but I think that to be a lie. I think this is honestly more just a straight up disliked map. How do you, I mean, do you think that I'm incorrect with that statement?
No, it is definitely disliked in the community, but due to the maps that are picked here, it looks like some people would rather prefer to give this one a shot than some of the other ones that were on there. It looks like, if I look at the ban list here, I believe Die Scraper was banned quite a bit to be avoided to be played, so they leave a lot of the RNG left to either Death Toll and Swamp, or Detour ahead in Swamp seems to be. And Swamp Fever has been a favorite this week for sure on getting that 50-50 Amethyst.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they call it Wipe Toll, a reason why that a lot of we didn't see a lot of games from Death Toll as well. The first hit of the game is going to go in, though, as I'm talking about Death Toll. Nothing is really going to happen, as most of the time Swamp Fever first hits don't, and we're going to be seeing a lot of that, MK, from Swamp Fever. This is, without a doubt, very, very, very survivor-friendly map campaign in general, so expect to see a lot of complete shutdowns, especially from good teams like this.
Yeah, and especially on Swamp Fever, like you said, it's very survivor-sided. This one, I would say, Amethyst, I don't know if you agree, I think is probably the most infected-friendly as the opening chapter of Swamp.
I think you definitely have a point in saying so. There's a lot of trees and buildings in this first part of this Swamp Fever map, and also this checkpoint, choke point, excuse me, that had been added a while ago, actually, now that I think about it. I want to say recently, but I don't think that's the right word to use. And this could actually be a relatively dangerous choke point, especially for Swamp Fever. The Hunter tried to go in and get a few scratches, and it didn't happen. It looks like they're safely going to be able to cross into these houses. But yeah, with a couple of houses... Oh, you know what?
Ooh.
That's a good point. Yeah, the tank being at 44, saving the rest of the hit for this tank in the hands of Taeyong, probably a lot more important than going at that chokehold. A more of a unique spot for the first tank here in Swamp Fever map 1. We're used to maybe seeing survivors go back. Not a whole lot of people play Swamp Fever anymore if they can choose not to. So yeah, this tank fighting in between these houses, this is going to be interesting, MK.
Yeah, I have not seen this tank fight before since you have to take that drop. I thought that tank was going to spawn after the event, even though it said 44% there, Amethyst, so I didn't really call it out right away. That's what I was assuming was going to happen, but I don't think I've ever seen a tank fight in this area as far as I can remember, Amethyst, to be honest.
I don't even know. I can't remember if that car right next to that tank is hittable. But I don't think it is. It is. And oh no, it isn't. The tank didn't know either, so we had to check real quick. I guess I'll take this first tank fight for the campaign. The tank is going to be able to get a hit on Rochelle, but that said, he's not able to get the corner. The smoker and the charger are going to land. That's actually going to be really huge. Nick was the first person on the scene to try to help his teammates, but he couldn't do anything because he had the shotgun. And now the tank is doing exactly what he's supposed to do and chase Grizz, who had the machine gun. But after that really good 2-secure, MK actually not a bad job clearing, just in general.
Yeah, that could have been disastrous for Hokori. Luckily, the tank was not able to get anybody. The jockey was unable to help him as well, which led to him being funneled down all the way up to the last minute. But one thing to note, Amethyst, that tank missed his punch on the last survivor. He almost had Grizz, but that miss led to his death. And I believe it was a no-hitter, but all the damage came from the SI and tallied up to about 35% damage from the start of the safe room, Amy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was so concerned with seeing how fast Nick would rescue his two teammates. I didn't even notice the fact that Taeyong was dead. Grizz really put in the work. Fortunately, Taeyong missing his final punch, I think really cost him some monumental damage. Maybe even if he was lucky on the bounce or the ricochet, even knocking Grizz down. But I don't know, for that tank MK, I really don't have a baseline for if it was good or not.
Yeah, me neither, as we're gonna go. Oh! I don't know if the angle was right, but it was close, Amy. That was as close as you're gonna get with teams of this caliber of getting a depth charge on Swamp Fever 1, in my opinion. It was a good attempt by the Infected.
Yeah, it's always a risky play going out by this little boat when you don't need to. There's a lot of empty room right here where you could get jockeyed or even hunted or smoked and then charged off. But that was a very solid job of clearing that charger for the rest of, what was I going to say, Hokori's team.
All right, so they're going to finish the first half of Swamp 1. I guess from this part out, as me and Amethyst were saying, Swamp Fever being very survivor-sided, I think this is where it starts to swing in that turn, as the Infected are not going to have very many roof spawns or spawns up in the trees. For the rest of this campaign, it's going to be very limited as they come out into a quad try. Tank dead, 2 attacks afterwards, 60% bonus left, 2 sets of pills. 1 survivor is crawling, the DB is protected, and now we're going to come up to a crawl as the survivors have nowhere safe to take this quad, Amethyst, as it comes in any second.
Yeah, and this is a really good quad location too. The Spitter and Boomer basically never really land here unless someone does something really stupid. And the quad is going to start to go in. Nothing has landed yet, but nothing has died, and that has just changed. And it actually looks like nothing is going to land, MK. So a really good job by Hokori there to probably squash the last decent hit location we're going to see for the rest of this chapter.
Yeah, with the momentum they have, they should be able to get through where the ammo pile is without the Infected really being able to get set up. That's the last time they'll have a chance above them for quite some time in this campaign. And looks like they got through it pretty cleanly. They're going to try to send the Boomerang, gets a proxy. I think that's just a sack to get one more set of spawns for the final hit in the safe room, Amy.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and they are not slowing down. Even with the 1 boom, they're able to slip through all of these trees relatively quickly. And yeah, just like you said, the rest of the Special Infected are going to pile up right here, hopefully for a nice hit.
Yeah, and I don't think this is going to mount up to anything. I think it might have been better to go with 3 in the trees, but they choose to hold off. Let's see how much damage it comes up to. 648 points. Hunter finds a spawn. Charger still looking, and they're not letting him spawn. They're not going to get the Charger to spawn in at all. They'll get a pounce and a ding of spit, and now this Charger's just going to M1 from a mile away and hope to get 2 points of damage, and he's not. And that will be safe room 1 made, and it's 500 distance points, and they'll put up 1132 after 1 chapter, Amethyst.
Honestly, not an atrocious job by Colossus. Once again, I mean, you really have to sell the fact here that this is a very survivor-sided map. Like, yeah, any sort of like chip damage really you can do for teams that are of this caliber, like this high up, seeded wise, you'll take what you can get. I think Taeyong definitely had a missed opportunity for missing a couple punches to have that tank be a little better than it was. But even then, pretty good to secure, all things considered, in a chapter that has like maybe 1.5 good spawn locations for Special Infected. I think you take that most of the time.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it's hard to really to determine due to how how good the Infected, I could really say, are playing due to the fact of how one-sided this campaign usually is. As we were saying, it's survivor-sided. So I would say, with Chapter 1 being worth a lot of distance, 500, I think that's a pretty good score, Amethyst. I would be happy with 1136 on neutral.
I 100% agree with you, as the rest of the Special Infected team are going to go in. They actually landed a bit, which is more than Hokori could say, but really not a whole lot of damage there.
And actually, did you see that? The charger landed and he had no get-up animation. He just walked right out of the spit. I
Oh,
don't know if you noticed that. I think the
man, I
jockey might
didn't
have
even
did that.
see it. Yeah, I didn't even see that. That's super unfortunate because a charge spit there, if it lands, actually pretty devastating for a hit that doesn't usually land most of the time.
Yeah, and do a quick shout out to J Dot for IO Asia server, bringing up some cool casting things in his little config thing that he's been messing with. Gave us some easy access to do things easy for the tournaments. Hopefully that'll go over to some other servers as well. It's a great thing to have Amethyst. We can really help out with some of these games now with J Dot adding some of the features for the casters.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out and thank you to him. I couldn't have said it better myself. But what I am going to say is that this next hit by the Special Infected team is going to go in, and it doesn't amount to a whole lot. So, Hokori went ahead and opted to use the whole hit there and not do what Colossus did and save a couple of things for this tank fight. I think because they realized that saving the hit there really didn't help them at all.
Ooh, Amethyst, the tank was the boomer. I wonder if he's gonna roll. Nope, never mind. I thought he was gonna roll right in, but he looks like he's trying to navigate through the left.
Fine.
I think he's gonna get to the hittables. He might use his spawns to get behind that next house. The survivors have nowhere to run either. They have to deal with this. This is interesting.
Yeah, Swamp Fever is also really well known for its very drawn-out tank fights, and I think comparatively to a lot of other tank fight spots on this campaign, the tank is probably just going to go in here in a second. So I'll let you take this tank fight, MK, since I took the last one.
All right, looks like he's going to change his mind. He's going to navigate back to the middle to see if he can split them. Nope, he's going to go forward now. Lose a couple. Actually, they chip him quite a bit through the wall there. He lost almost 500 bonus before his commit, and now he's taking a scenic route. Oh, he's digging out the car.
So this part's hittable, okay.
This is interesting. Now they're probably going to run inside the bar. He's going to lose a lot of chip, but he'll get an early corner. It's just going to depend on what they can have to help him. And they got a smoker. This might not be good. He's in. He's at 3,000 HP. He gets his first punch. Down to 1,400. Gets his second punch. The support goes in. It's almost a tri-cap, but it's not quite going to land. I think it's going to be a one-in cap tank with a pole. Maybe one more effort for a punch, but he's going to die by the dumpster. And we're going to have to tally this up and see what the damage is after they get the pickup. And their bonus, and they pause it before we can see. So we won't even know.
we'll be able to see in a second. But interesting there to go for the car. I guess he had a change of plans gameplay-wise. I think the tank was just about to go right in. I don't know if one of his teammates informed him that car was hittable, or if he just knew the whole time and wasn't going to go for it. I guess that's the risk you take, because really you can just go into that building, and I'm not going to sit here and say that's the safest spot to fight the tank, but you don't want to get hit with a car, obviously, so you kind of just have to trust that your teammates are going to clear the special infected that are coming in. And I agree, the smoker there was probably the worst thing they could have gotten. I think I'd even prefer a boomer there. There's a lot of different spots from the top of that roof where that boomer could drop down and boom and just disorientate everyone instantly, especially since I don't know, do you remember who the tank was there, MK? I can't remember.
The tank was Zyko. That was a Zyko tank.
Zyko. So, because Zyko had already probably lost about 1/3 of his health by the time he went into the building. Just the survivors not being able to see for a bit and having a few zombies on their ass probably would have helped him quite a bit. But I mean, all in all, Hokori was able to get a down with their tank, so better than Colossus's, but not by a whole lot. This is still a very, very close game.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see where the bonus is at, because if we do right now, we know oh, there it is. That actually did tally up. We can see. So after the pickup on this tank fight, the survivors will have 66.9% of the bonus, and that's no pun intended. It's actually that, which is 736 points, which is about 104-point difference right now, and they haven't even started the event yet. So I would say right now it's going a little bit better for Hokori, but it comes out to the rest of the damage that's done. And again, this might not be the correct points because it was paused directly on pickup, so don't quote me on that quite yet, Amy. We'll have to see.
Well, that's fair. Now, I highly doubt, I don't think it's an impossibility, but I highly doubt we're going to see a insta-kill. It'd be fun, but I just don't think that we're going to see that happen. That'd be a pretty careless mistake at this point in the tournament for Colossus to eat that. And I expected anything like that to be cleared before anyone eats an insta charge, kind of like when Hokori was survivors. But one thing I will say is they're probably going to do the same thing Hokori did and hide out in that house. And you know as well as I do, MK, one really good spit and a couple of stumbles in that house will ruin a team on this map.
Yes, it will. Right now, they don't have... Rochelle's not moving. Okay, Rochelle's now regrouping with the team. They were a little separated here. And it looks like Rochelle wants them to come back. Erlin has other plans. They're quite separated right now. And the Infected are going to try to make a play on it. That Charger was really ambitious. Maybe the Hunter could have helped a little bit, but they get a pounce spit. Never mind. That Charger was a distraction. And that is great damage, Amethyst. And right now, it is almost the even round already. And Colossus still has over half the map to go through.
Yeah, I don't hate that charge attempt there. Wasn't able to get it, but because of the distraction, like you said, Hunter was able to land, and probably a slower clear on Taeyong that Colossus would have liked. And they are going to stay in this house for another hit, which is what Hokori did not do. Let's see how it works out for Colossus. And this hit is going to be huge! The jockey in the corner! Coach is going to take a bath. Taeyong was even taken away there by, I think, the smoker for a second, and that's exactly what I mean. But luckily for Colossus, at least it wasn't somebody with a permanent health.
Yeah, that DB actually got munched so much. Actually, come to think of it, we gotta talk about actually the strat here. It was actually pretty smart for them to hit the DB because they lost 35% of the DB off that hit alone. And that is a massive amount of points that comes down. They're gonna send the Charger in. It's not going to land. Actually, it does land. It craps out Ellis on the other side, which is quite funny. But actually, when we go back to the attack on the DB there, since the DB is worth 350 points, that attack, which took, let me see, 35% of the DB, so they lost 35% of 350 in that hit. So actually, that turns out to be very smart from the survivors. And I think if the rest of this map, they should target Rusher the rest of this chapter, Amethyst. Not only because it's the DB, but remember, DB goes down twice as fast when it's hit compared to health bonus.
Yeah, you know what, that's fair, and I'll tell you what I was thinking as soon as this hit goes in. This is going to be another quad attempt, and this one's going to land. Well, not land the entirety of the thing, but when we consider the fact Colossus didn't land anything, that was pretty solid by Hokori being able to land that 2 secure for a second. But what I was going to say, I guess I was more thinking just from a speed perspective of at least everyone else has permanent health, so I don't have to worry about being slow just yet after Ellis pops pills. But you're right. I guess 100% the strategy is going to be attack for DB, especially when you might not get very many opportunities on a campaign like this.
Yeah, actually, when the round ends, we'll briefly go over that again. We found some interesting stuff as the Charger successfully hits the wall and does nothing. The 100 pounds lands in the back as a spit. Maybe it was a distraction again, Amethyst. Who knows? It kind of worked out.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Chargers haven't been landing, but it hasn't mattered because the Hunters are just having a field day. And that Boomer was able to land too. I don't think it's going to really stop their momentum at all, to be honest. But if Hokori is able to get one more hit here and stop them from going inside, maybe those zombies can catch up. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It looks like they're just rushing in. They're going to take that chance, and it is going to work out. Probably the exact right play you want to go for 9 times out of 10. And with that, the scores right now are Colossus 840, Hokori 1,132. So, yeah, still right in the mix of things. MK, no real advantage so far for either team.
No, neither team does. Going into the next chapter, this is where we should start seeing plus 60% for each chapter, maybe even more health bonus-wise. But now if we go back to the DB thing that I wanted to talk to you real quick with Amethyst and the people that are watching, is that say if a tank will commit and a survivor has 5 punches and he punches him 4 times, and then the support goes in to support him, and if the tank chooses to in-cap that person, they will only lose about 20 points of health bonus and 5% of their DB. If the tank lets that survivor pop his pills and then downs him, they actually lose 47% of their damage bonus.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's a very viable strategy.
Yeah, so sometimes it might not be. It depends if you're playing home and away. Will become down to if you're playing the away game, let them pop the pills and munch that DB down, get 50% of it down almost in a shot. And compared to getting an in-cat or doing that, compared to a death with like a hittable, it's 70% DB. So that's an example of how very vulnerable the DB is on a little mistake like that, just as a perspective for other players as well.
Yeah, because that's a viable strategy as well, like taunting or basically baiting the opponent getting hit by the tank to take their pill. If you're a tank that you know you still have a little bit of health, just to get rid of the pills in general. That's something people do just like when they're not even really focused on, just in like pugs and stuff. But now being able to take out a lot of that damage bonus is really useful, as we're going to see this hit go in here, and nothing really is going to land for a very long period of time. I think that Boomer was able to boom like 18 times, but that's about it.
And Zyko actually got wrecked there, all the way down to 74. It looked like it was nothing, but it turns out to be quite a bit of damage, in my opinion, in that open area. Tank's going to be at 33%. We didn't see this before we started and commented, but they will be able to get out of this forest before that tank is up into a more advantageous spot, as the Hunter does land. Spitter was not ready. Pull in the back, misses. Jockey comes in for a scratch, and we have the second tank of the game for Colossus here. Amethyst into the hands of Rusher, and he's caught in a bad situation right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those like long-winded tanks where there's going to be a lot of patience, a lot of rock throwing, not a lot of great spawn locations for special infected here. I mean, if you're trying to get a boom, unless someone isn't watching behind one specific tree, you probably forget about it. Charger's really hard to land here. Smoker's not too bad, and Hunter can be a lot of fun, but this is going to be a rock tank probably for the entirety of it. The time, and that rock is going to land on Zyko. That's just a rage rock, so no damage going on to Zyko there. But as tank here, this is one of those tanks where really you just want to make it last as much as possible and have your special infected get off as many hits as possible before you're forced to go in.
Yeah, I do agree with that one. In fact, when I was making the highlights for the week of this, there was a lot of rage going on here. It's just holding the site and trying to get hits for the SI. They get almost a triple charge. Ooh. That'll be 20 points of damage from the Charger alone. And that's what I was talking about, Amethyst. Even if the tank doesn't get anything, if they're getting 20, 30 points of damage every hit, it's still going to work out in the favor for the infected, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, it's the little things that matter with tanks like these for sure. Like even the small bits of damage that don't seem like they matter, but the difference in a game like this can be 30 points of infected difference for one team and 5 for the other team in moments like this. But if you are a rusher now, your tank is second passed and 50% or 75%. So he is going to have to go in eventually. It's probably a good move to get rid of that Boomer, because like I said, Boomer's all but useless here. But then again, I said the Charger was kind of bad here, and they almost got a triple charge, so what do I know? That's why I'm only a broadcaster.
Sometimes they trick even our knowledge of what we think is the best play, but right now he's going to have to roll this in. He's going to have a tri-cap with the Charger. No jockey. He's rolling his way in. He's down to 5K. They go for the early pull. They get it on Nick. He gets the corner, maybe. Can Nick get out? Oh, they also skeet the Hunter. He punches it all the way over to the Smoker. The Smoker gets killed. No, he doesn't. Actually, he gets another punch. Now the Smoker is killed. Rusher still has 2K, but I don't think he's going to be able to get out of here with anything more. And that should be a dead tank. Maybe one more rock. No, it's not. And that is a pretty average tank coming out, I would say here, Amethyst. One in cap, some good damage onto Zyko from that Charger on the second hit before the commit. And just like I was saying, they're going to have 768 bonus, and that is 72% of the total possible score. And that's a lot right now, I would say, Amethyst.
I don't know if you saw it too, but I don't know who the Smoker was when the tank was going in, but that was a pretty good play by the Smoker. He was actually able to body block Grizz from getting out of that small location, so the tank was able to get a corner onto Grizz. I don't think he would have got one if the Smoker doesn't body block there and is careful with his positioning, so well done by him. But yeah, overall, I mean, that's the standard tank. I think you get the early pull there, a corner if you can, one down there for that tank. I think that's fine.
They're actually going to go for a quad try here. The Jockey getting lasered, but the Hunter lands. The Charger misses. The Jockey eventually finds a target. Coach cuts the tongue of the smoker, and that will be shut down as soon as they kill the smoker. They should start blitzing this map. No tank to worry, so no reason to sit back here and hold this out, Amethyst.
Yeah, and that's just such a strong area too to take that first hit from the other team. It's just so wide open. There's a bus, or I don't even know, an RV there that provides a little bit of spawn points, I guess, for special infected, but not a whole lot. And yeah, we're very much so for the rest of this map, MK, basically going to be seeing just a couple bushes, a couple trees, but a lot of open area for the special infected to not be able to spawn. And that hunter was probably better off never spawning at all because he got skeeted.
Yeah, that was a great turn skeet. I believe Zyko turn shot, or no, that was Yap. Whoever Rochelle was got that shot, I believe. That was a nice shutdown on the Hunter, making the Charger pretty much useless in that attack. They do kill the Boomer and spin it off at the end, and we're going to have a quad try for the final attack of this chapter. I don't think there's any chance they get it. Second hit. Maybe they do. They're going to go quick here. Amethyst, Hunter lands, Charger melted, and it's going to be a rolling 2-cap at the end. Minimal damage. And they might make it in safe from here. I don't know, Amethyst. It's going to be close.
Yeah, I don't mind the rushed hit there. I mean, really, you could either go in the trees at the end of that swamp, behind this like bus, everyone going in, or even at the safe room. I think your better opportunity there is in the trees, just because there's more spawn points. I think they realize that they're probably not going to get another hit, which they don't. But I think you take that, even if it's a rushed. I think it was, what was it, a quad at the end there?
Yes.
Yeah, even if it was a quad, I think you try to go for that, but didn't end up working out exactly the way they wanted, and it's going to leave Hokori with a pretty nice looking score of 2,292.
Yeah, that's a very fat score, I would say. They lost only 13% of the bonus when the tank was deceased. They had the extra pills when they killed the tank. They went up to 72% bonus, all the way down to 59. So that's just a good proof of what we said earlier, as it's just difficult to get damage with the SI without the tank, and you gotta take advantage of all the damage you can take with when the tank is in. Spread whatever you can, because it's really not going to come from the map itself with SI attacks.
Yeah, especially with the tank fight being in that little forest area. There's really only two tank fight locations on this map. It's before the plane and then that little area after the plane. And if anything crazy is going to happen on map 2 of Swamp Fever, it's going to be that tank because of the hittable, the log that could be really, really chaotic and take some weird bumps, and of course a couple of different locations for the tank to hide behind and throw rocks. But we got the standard tank fight. I mean, it would really take something crazy to happen for anything, I think, for anything crazy to happen, basically. But, oh, this hit's actually going to go in here, and this is going to be really bad for Colossus. A lot of damage coming out on a hit, where most of the time is clapped pretty quickly. Both the survivors got dragged out of the safe room by the jockey and smoker and boomed on, so Taeyong and even Erlin took a lot of damage there from that safe room hit.
Yeah, that is not a good start for Colossus. They've already lost 14%, and that is about what Hokori lost on the whole map with their special infected against them. So it's this Charger's going to miss. Hunter gets shut down there. Spitter's not going to get anything, as the Hunter's body is floating in the water. And we have the second tank of the game for Hokori in the hands of Yaft. And let's see how aggressive Colossus are going to play on this tank. We'll have to find out here in a bit, Amethyst.
Yeah, I think most of the time I see things going really, really badly for survivors during this tank fight is when survivors decide to get too greedy and they're not aware of the special spawns. I don't think that's going to be a problem with these teams, but you never know. Crazier things have happened. Rock coming in from the tank there, but that was skeeted by Taeyong, but skeeted by him. And yeah, either way, that was a kind of a moot hit, but you get a lot of those from this tank.
Yeah, Yap just trying to keep Rage first pass, 50% frustration. They attacked once so far. He has lost a couple hundred of his HP, and it looks like he's backing off a little bit, maybe to wait for the spawns they have. I don't know if they're happy with this. They don't have a smoker. If they stack, they might get Boomer. It looks like Yaft is making his way in. Hunter is pouncing around. Oh, they're full. No, they're going to go for a rock. He's going to get it, but it's going to be God-framed and retreated. And they retreat, but they're getting SI damage here. Amethyst getting the bonus under 8 80 HP, or 80%, I mean.
Yeah, and it would be really bad here if somehow they were able to drop Taeyong before the end of this tank, or before the tank even really went in. And that is why now Colossus is being super aggressive against this tank. They want to chip him as much as possible while they know it's relatively safe to do so. But you always got to be careful. Oh, that was I don't know if the Boomer respawned as Ellis was shooting that door, but he knew that there was a chance Boomer was coming through the door. He wasn't going to let it happen. This is just going to be another rock throw try, and unfortunately that rock is going to hit just the bridge going into that swamp puddle because he threw an underhand rock. But Yaft is very much so committing to this get in, get out play style of Rock Tank. He is not super concerned with how much chip he's taking, I don't think.
No, he definitely is not. That's a lot of damage to take Amethyst, as you were saying. He is already down to 4,300 HP. That means these survivors are going to hold S when he commits. They know he is weak already. It's going to come all down to support. Is this Smoker going to get his alley-oop? Are they going to clear Coach in time? But he whiffs. Oh, he gets stuck on the rock by himself. The Smoker eventually pulls. He doesn't have anybody yet. The Hunter has missed. Oh, he gets a double charge. The Hunter finds a target.
No.
The Smoker's going to cover the tank. And this is disastrous for Colossus. He's going to take the corner. That's going to be another in cap. It's going to be a 2 in cap tank. Yapt is so healthy yet. They pop another set of pills. The slide is already slow. And this is a disastrous turn of events for Colossus here. Amethyst did so much damage.
Yeah, MK, everyone was backing up into a corner and none of the special infected had died. And so the only person that got out of dodge was Rochelle, but she had an Uzi, so she had a hard time skeeting that Hunter. She got clapped and then a charge went out, a smoker went out. It was just very good teamwork and awareness by the special infected team to take advantage of that one separation and also every other survivor clumping together. And also a great job by Yaf to just basically take no damage considering how much damage he provided.
All right. They are going to miss some rocks. This tank cannot do anything but chuck rocks over the top for a little while. He'll be content with doing so. They troll a pickup and they get it up eventually. Attacks coming in that not everybody is not up yet. They're sticking the pickup and it's causing damage to happen to Rochelle. Almost another double charge. It's more damage going out. Survivors all the way down to 143 HP or bonus after they pop the last pills. Jockey lands. And it looks like they're finally going to finish off Yaft here as he goes AI. And that is one of the best tanks I think I've ever seen on Swamp Fever 2 here, Amethyst, in tournament play.
Holy shit.
Yeah, everything just went exactly as you want it to if you have a tank there. A couple survivors huddled up together, one survivor went away. The one infected you really want to grab onto the straggler getting away from the herd is the Hunter. The Hunter got the straggler, everyone else got capped. Just it went smoothly. That's really all you can say. And it went so smoothly, in fact, that Colossus is not able to take the luxury to take the first hit in that really nice area so they could just sort of run through without having to worry of being cluttered up in that plane. They have to just push through it. They did an okay job getting out of it, all things considered, but still, there's just a bunch of little chip damage here and there from the common infected. Some stuff was able to land and get some scratches, and now everyone is basically slow with no pills.
Yeah, the crawl has begun, and they already have exhausted all the extra pills on the map. They're a little split now. Looks like the Charger and Hunter want to capitalize. They're going to grab the back two, but it gets cleared. Charger could not find a spawn. He's going to grab Erlin, but misses. Kills the Charger at the end. Rochelle is common locked, and they lose about 30 more points of bonus, and they only got 58 points, and it looks like it's just going to be a distance run now for Colossus on Chapter 2 of Swamp Fever, Amy.
Yeah, and I honestly think they're going to be able to get easily 2 more hits out of this, maybe even 3, depending on what happens. Now everyone is slowed into a crawl, and so that's going to make things even more dangerous. A couple of special infected going in from behind, just trying to all capitalize on either Nick or Rochelle. A nice team skeet, though, to prevent the Hunter from landing. Some positivity there. So it looks like, I honestly, if I'm Hokori, I just keep letting her rip, and I just keep sending them.
Yeah, full send every time. I mean, they're literally only a little bit bonus left, and it's... Actually, no, I think now they don't full send anymore. They find an extra set of pills, actually, and he just pops them right away. So no extra points. The spawns are coming up. Charger goes from another zip code, as I like to say. Pound Spit will land, and they get him in the spit, but it's not their bonus, so it's not going to do any damage. It's just going to delay the pickup. and they shoot the car.
Oh, that could be I don't know if that was on purpose or not. That might actually hurt them.
Yeah,
Because
the bonus.
Erlin's in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the last one. I don't know. We'll see. Both MK and I are holding our breath. They knew that Boomer was going to be right there, as it usually is. So that is not going to matter. But it not mattering also doesn't really matter because their score was a lot worse than Hokori's. Colossus is going to finish with a bonus of only 40, and their score is going to be 1380.
Yeah, that's a huge point delta. A couple hundred points on Swamp Fever. Doesn't look too good right now for Colossus, and if I had to say something about the playoff bracket, it's still not known if we're going to go top 8, top 16, top 12, so for Colossus here, if it's just going to be top 8 Amethyst, their tournament life is on the line here, because they're in the 7th seed, and if they fall lost now, I don't think they'll be able to hold into that top 8 spot for sure.
Oh, this is also really interesting. This is an 82% tank. This tank is very, very late. More often than not, you're going to see the tank appear right in the middle of this giant empty swamp. With a couple different hittables that could turn the tide. 82 is going to be interesting, though, as we're going to see this hit go in here.
Oh!
A nice skeet on that Hunter. Not even the smoker could stop him. That was very well done. Yeah, by Yaft, that was a very good skeet.
Yeah, that was a pole skeet, and it was beautiful. Nothing like getting the shot while you're being pulled to help your team out and not losing any points. And they keep all of their HP at all 100. And shout out to Infested Soul, who's lingering in the chat, my friend, fellow co-caster of Amethyst, and myself.
He's a good guy. He's a great guy.
And that is a late tank, Amethyst. 82, like you said. I believe that is after event. I don't think they could trigger that before.
I think I've played against that tank like twice. That's not a super common tank here, and I think that's also very, very bad news if you're Colossus. You want to try to fight the tank here. You want the opportunity to maybe get some shenanigans on some hittables and change the tide of things. Sometimes even playing a rock tank here can really annoy survivors, and they start to get too aggressive, and so a lot of people eat rocks that they shouldn't. But now with the 82% tank, you take all of that out of the equation, and it's just going to be easier for Hokori to make map distance, obviously. Oh, yeah.
We both seen it. We both seen it and thought the same thing.
That's the saddest thing in Left 4 Dead 2, I swear. It's either that or you spit, and for some reason your spit is like a beach ball's width on the ground for some reason because of the physics engine in this game.
They also hunt down that spitter. They're not going to allow him to have that charge spit. That is unfortunate for the infected. They're going to get a tri-cab with Boom. I don't think this is necessarily bad for this spot, but it looks like they're going to sack the Boomer and try to send in this quad when they have Horde coming in.
Well,
now,
can you not?
No, they
can't.
They could go up to the rock and get it to 81%,
yeah.
but they don't.
Oh,
they
81.
Yeah, I thought they would try, but they didn't. So they just hit the event and run back. Now, I'll talk about this after this hit goes in. It's going to be a quad try. The Hunter's already given it its location and lost about 50-some HP, too. Jockey's running around. Smoker's not even up yet. Here they send it, but there's no comments. Oh, it's going to get shut down. Pretty much a clean take. Now, as I was going to say here, Amethyst, when I believe it was Fear Factory and Hokori that played on this map. I could be wrong, but I know they played on this, and the tank was at the same spawn. And they started the event, took an attack, and then spawned tank. And both teams wiped out because the Horde didn't stop.
Interesting.
So okay. I don't know what's... And I think Hokori learned from this, and they're just going to run it back and wait this entire thing out and take about 4 hits before they go forward, I would say, to play it safe.
Yeah, this is a pretty... and just that crescendo event in general can actually be kind of a huge pain in the ass. There's a lot of different opportunities to knock survivors off those like wooden planks and reset them, and they have to start all over again. I don't imagine... Okay, you didn't need to do that to him. But a lot of people... there's not a whole lot that's going to go on in that very open area, even if some zombies are on you. But they're going to move ahead now, now that the hit is down. And probably just wait it out there. They might even go back and forth between hits. I don't know. I don't know what's going through their heads.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I have an idea of what they were trying to do here, but they're going to send spawns in again. They're going to get a charger, almost it's a tri-cap! Whoa, that was close to a quad. The damage is going to mount up to a massive amount. It's still tacking up. 25% bonus is now gone. That was actually pretty close, Amethyst, to being a quad.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and they are going to traverse this storm now as the Horde starts to die out. But man, that was such a good last hurrah hit from Colossus there. There still are some straggling zombies, so they have to be careful. This tank is going to be in the hands of Erlin, so they are going to take this tank back probably to that exact area I was talking about where usually nothing happens in that big round area of the swamp. Boomer is going to get one. I don't think that's going to matter right now. But yeah, this is right now. This is going to be just the tank chasing the survivors back to that dead area.
Yeah, I think this tank should just cut hard right and not even bother chasing him if he wants his toys. Unless he just wants to kind of peek. And looks like he's not interested in going for toys. This is interesting. I don't know about that. It looks like he might be changing his mind, but they're going to go for an attack here. Smoker tries to get a pull separating the survivor. Not going to work. And it looks like now Erlin is starting to navigate over to the toys as they attack full sends. 2-cap comes out. The charger will get the 10-point damage on the distance. 2 survivors are slow as Erlin now retakes closer. Ooh, that was really close.
That could have been really, really bad for Shockwave there. If he gets hit with that, Shockwave just goes down probably.
Yeah. He pays for it though. Look at the price of it. Oh, look at this survivor pushing the tank. Oh,
this is such a bad position. Oh no. He's eating so much chip. He's got to get out of there. The Boomer is going to get Shockwave. And so maybe that'll give him some respite. The tank is just going to go in. No hittables, just guns a-blazing. And he is going to go for the guy that he's going to hope get covered in zombies. But that's not happening. Oh my goodness. And another skeet by Yapt. I think that's his 3rd or 4th one of the game. Oh no. Okay, so now if you're Erlin, you have your second pass, you have 95 frustration. You have to get your car. If anything is going to happen, it's going to be with a hittable. You just have to make sure the survivors don't run away fast enough. Do we see a charger is going to spawn in front of the survivors there to try to keep them grounded, and it's not going to work. Yaft with a level onto that charger. I almost said a level skeet. That doesn't exist. Now he's got this car on this bridge, and he is going to full send it. It looked dangerous, but actually that car is in a horrible spot now, and Erlin is going to hit her out. Just barely missing that ricochet log. That could have been really dangerous for Shockwave. Oh, that was just honestly, you know, I can't even really. I mean, I think you can say Erlin probably didn't take the best route for whatever he was trying to do there, but also really good team play by Hokori.
Yeah, and how about the individual play on Yaft being separated from his team on shutting down the jockey and the hunter at the same time, saving his team from devastation. And it turns out to be a great play. And it's amazing how one shutdown of 2 spawns changed that entire tank fight there, Amethyst. So drastically.
Absolutely. I mean, if anything happens to Yaft there, the tank has time to position his hittables, maybe even hit one onto Yaft and his teammates. That could have been a complete game changer. And I don't blame 2 Special Infected trying to go after one guy just to secure that plan to happening. It just didn't happen because Yaft took his vitamins and drank his milk before this game today, MK.
Yeah, it looks like Hokori's going to be able to walk their way into the safe room without another full attack. It's going to be kind of close, but usually this last attack doesn't really do much anyways due to the spawn locations. And let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be a Boomer and Spitter first. The Spitter might be able to delay if he's spatting now. He's a little late. He gets picked. Smoker tries to delay, and he does. But I don't think they're going to get much more. Maybe a jockey scratch Amethyst. That'll be it.
I think you're right. Yeah, really the sort of pullback area right here on this sort of like boardwalk really only makes a huge difference if 2 or more people are slow. When everyone's fast, it's such a short trek to get back on that boardwalk, so it usually doesn't matter most of the time, just like right there. And with that, that is going to be a very gorgeous looking score on the end of Hokori, 3,000. 664. My goodness, they have really been playing well as a team this entire campaign, MK.
Yeah, I mean, look at that's just dominant score right there. I think they scored 60% about every chapter so far, and that is really difficult to mount against on a neutral server where everybody's pretty close to being actually green ping here, pretty even across the board. And with Colossus having to go here with their survivor round, I mean, even if we look at what the percentage was, Amethyst, they walk in with 58.9. Even if they walk in with 90% of the bonus, they're still going to be down quite a bit of points going into the finale.
So I'm not sure with the ruling on this, MK. I know you'll know. Is the chapter 4 I guess it's not a must play because I guess any team could honestly forfeit whenever they want, but do we treat chapter 4 for Swamp Fever as if it's just map 4 and not a finale, or is this like
Yes.
teams get to choose? Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's a normal map because if it's home and away, you would play it just for fairness.
Okay.
So that's how you determine which would be played as far as finale-wise, and if it's one side or two if for home and away. But the Charger lands in the safe room somehow. There's a lot of damage actually going out. No cappers really land to do damage. It was 2 scratches from the Charger and the 10 damage in the... No, actually, it was one of them was God Framed. 17 damage from the Charger. And that's actually pretty good for opening hit, Amethyst.
Well, yeah, if you notice too, you're completely right. And Hokori has been able to set the tone of every single chapter by getting a pretty decent safe room hit every single time. It hasn't done catastrophic damage, but Hokori has been able to shut down those for the most part every single time. Colossus has been not, to say the least.
No, definitely. Actually, I think it comes rather of a map knowledge thing because people don't really play it at all. And I know that Hokori plays this map quite a bit. As you can see, they do different strats that other people don't do, which I find quite interesting. So map knowledge comes into play, and I like to say that Swamp Fever sometimes could be like a custom map to some people. Just no one knows as spawns go in there and the jockey gets a separation. And that's a lot of damage, Amy, again. Which is good damage.
Yeah, that could have been really bad. I thought that jockey was going to take slide for the ride of his life, but it's still, that was, like you said, a good amount of damage. Yeah, and that's a really big thing, and it's like that for a bunch of different maps in Left 4 Dead, but especially ones that like they've been around for a long time that just nobody plays because nobody really thinks they're that fun. Being able to be knowledgeable of a map that nobody ever plays in situations like this for sure is a 100% difference maker.
Blood Harvest. Excuse me, sorry. I had something stuck in my throat there.
Yeah, that's a very weird cough you have there. I think you should check that out.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like they're just going to hold it out here. They're not going to choose to run back, so the Infected will have more advantageous spawns here. And I know that Colossus hasn't played Swamp Fever that much, and if they spawn this tank now, it would be disastrous for them, because this horde is not going to cease at any time soon. Hunter is now spawned up. Boomer is now up. I'll explain something about the horde after this attack is over. Jockey lands. Spitter goes for it. They're in the spit.
Man. Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness, and they're just swimming in it. And now, as I talk about the commons real quick, there's something I don't know if you're aware of this either, Amethyst. Let's say if you trigger an event and you run backwards, all the commons that are in the front retreating backwards will actually despawn. All the commons in the back chasing survivors don't. So if you hold here for a minute and then run back, all those commons will just despawn out of the total and just respawn in the back. So it's a little bit of a strategy play come up here that I noticed in RBT7 as they send another attack and it gets shut down. It's not going to really get anything. This tank is up here, Amethyst. Look at this.
Oh no,
this is bad.
Super separated.
Oh, we'll take it away.
Got the charge, and now Grizz is just going to get this easy corner onto a 2-punch slide. And speaking of 2 punches, there goes Taeyong, and it's all falling apart. He doesn't even need help. His Common Infector doing all the work for him. A body block onto Rusher is going to knock him down as well. This one is looking bleak, and don't even give Grizz a helping hand. All he needed was that charger and a little help from his Common Infected friends, and that is a dominant end to Chapter 3, MK, the first wipe we've seen.
Yes, and actually that was, I don't know who spawned the tank up, but that was a complete misplay. Coach didn't even have ammo yet. They didn't even grab ammo. Someone just balled out and got the tank up. I didn't even notice it because we were talking about how the commons were working. And what a turn of events. It looks like this game is decided at this point, but they'll finish out the last chapter. So I think we could say congratulations to Hokori on solidifying the number 2 spot for the playoffs of RBT7 as Diesel clicks the number 1 Amethyst, going 7-0 in the Swiss round. Hokori goes 6-1, and they're just going to call the GG now, and it's going to be over.